All right, we are in the next, the operating round. So the first thing we do is pay out the private companies. So this one is now inside of this corporation or train company. So it's going to get $15, but now it's going to go to the company instead of to the player's personal bank. Here we have this person who gets $10 revenue. They have held on to their private companies. So it's going to go to their personal cash. This company over here sold their private to this train company, so the $10 is going to go to the train company instead of to the player. And over here we have this company who did not, or this person who did not sell their private to the company, so they're going to get the $5 cash for themselves. So that's the first thing you do, is pay out the privates. Next, you will determine player order. So you can see we have blue's going to go first, then black, then red, then green. Now something I wanted to show you real quick before I move on is during the last operating round, every company bought a 3-train. So look, this company has a 3-train and 2 twos. This company has a 3-train and 2 twos. This company has a 3-train and a 2-train. This company has a 3-train and a 2-train. So the train purchasing ideally, or most likely, would slow down at this point. Now there's only one 3-train left. And so even if nobody buys a train, remember there is that export feature, right? When you leave the stock round and go to, or when you leave the operating round and go to the stock round, you have to export a train. And again, you only export trains if it's a 2-train, a 3-train, or a 4-train. Once you get to the 5 trains, the exporting stops. So at the end of this round, if nobody buys this train, it is going to be removed from the game, which will make the 4 trains available. And the only reason I mention this is because if somebody had started a company on the last round, right, let's say they floated it at the 70 par price over here, meaning they would only have $700 available in their charter, paying $180 out of that $700 would have been, a lot cheaper for them to do that. And this train will still last. It'll last through the 4 and the 5 train operation rounds, which could be a while because it's not rusted until the 6 purchases. But because nobody started a company, this is going to, it's going to go away one way or the other, which is going to make the 4 trains available, which means now if you're going to start a company, let's say you start at the $70 par price, giving you $700 in your treasury, the first train you're going to have to buy is going to cost you $300, which is almost half of your treasury. So that is a big expense. Now there are things you can do. I believe I mentioned how if you have 2 companies, you can buy trains across and sell trains across and things like that and do some train manipulation. But if you're not in a position to do that, that is one thing to consider. Like, hey, when should I start another company? Should I start another company before the trains get to be almost 50% of my treasury cost when they're a lot cheaper? Or am I willing to wait to get a better train that might last a little longer? So those are just some of the decisions you're going to have to make. So it is blue's turn first. So it is the blue player's turn. So we have our thing now. If I remember, I'm going to go over the private thing at the end of their turn this time, just to give you another way to think about that. So first we're going to do with lay or upgrade track. So now that we are in the phase where the green tiles can be purchased, this company, the blue company, can actually upgrade tiles. It could upgrade DC to this tile, which would produce $40 of revenue instead of $30. Or it could upgrade this tile, Baltimore, which currently produces $30 of revenue, and it could also go to $40. So they're both going to go up to $40 regardless of which one it does. The thing that they know is nobody is even near this tile, so they kind of have control over that. But the Baltimore one, if blue doesn't upgrade it, red will probably upgrade it. And red might upgrade it to one of these tiles, one of these 3 tiles, that blue is not fond of. Blue might want a very specific tile. So blue's going to choose to upgrade this to a green tile so that they get to choose which tile it is. So option 1 is this. Now track can't ever go into the water, which means this side either has to go in here like this, which would send blue's train up in this direction, or it has to go in here like this, which it can't because it would break the track. So if blue is going to place this tile, it would force blue to go up here, and it might not want to do that, but red might want this because red might want to swing in and hook up over into this, partner up with green and hook up over here. So that's one option that blue has. Blue could place this tile, so it could either be placed this way, where green gets to go over in this direction, which would allow red to go over in this direction, or that way, which is the same. Or it could place this tile, which would allow blue to hook over in this direction. And it can't go that way, and it can't go those ways. So blue's going to choose this tile here. All right. Blue is already over here. It can come down here. I talked before about either starting one of these other two companies that are down at the bottom and working with it. And it wants to hook over here and maybe go off towards this side, because New York is actually, if you can get there at the end, it pays $100 per delivery there. And something else, the blue player owns the DNR. They have the private, so if blue sells this to their company, they get to place this tile and determine how the tile is configured to run over here. So if blue wants to run from here up over into here, they might want to control how that tile is placed. So they're looking to go this way. So blue is going to place that tile. So we've laid or upgraded. We upgraded track. Then we run trains. So blue, 40 plus 30 is 70. So $70, that's $7 a share. Blue has 6 shares. So 7 times 6 is 42, so they're going to get $42. Player 1 has 2 shares, they're going to get $14. Player 2 has 1 share, they're going to get $7. And player 3 has 1 share, so they're going to get $7 also. So that money is going to pay out, and then the blue company is going to go up from a $100 value to a $110 value, because it paid out, so it went up there because it paid out to the shareholders. Though it didn't have to, it could keep that $70 and put it in its treasury to buy a train, but it's already got enough trains and it's not worried about that, so it's not going to do that. So paid out dividends, so that caused us to move the marker up there. Next, buy trains. Blue could buy this last 3 train. It's the last chance to get another train at this cost. And blue actually has a 3 train, so its 2 train ran that. If it gets its 3 train going, it could come for here for 1, 2, and then when this gets laid 3, or it could go 1, 2, and then swing up in this direction, which I don't know why it would do that. I mean, maybe if you want to pick up that 30, or it could come into Philadelphia, 1, 2, 3. But anyway, it doesn't need any more trains, so it's not going to buy any more trains, and that is the end of blue's turn. I almost forgot. So now that it chose not to buy trains, remember you can buy or sell private at any time, and I was going to deal with that at the end. So blue now has, after that round, they have 20, 40, 60, 80, 85, 90, 95, $103. All right. So that they can use to buy stock, or if they wanted to do some stuff to see if they could raise enough capital to start another company, they can. But remember, they could go, all right, I have, $103. I could pull, if I sold this to my company, right, I could pull another $40 out of there, and I could actually enter the next stock round with $143. But actually, there's still a whole other operating round that's going to go on. So maybe they're going to wait on that, and they'll hold on to this, and then they'll see how much money they have total at the end of operating round 2, and then going into the stock round, they'll see how much capital they have and see if it might be beneficial for them to pull $40 out of their company by selling this to it. All right, so that's one thing to think about. All right, so next to operate is the black company. Our option of buying or selling a private company no longer exists because they already sold their private company into there. So the next thing is to look into laying or upgrading a track tile. So if we look at where the black company is, number one, these tiles with these little cities on them, they're never upgradable. They're always just that. They can't go any higher. So if the black company wants to upgrade, they can only upgrade this tile, or they could lay a new tile to go in this direction. Now its upgrade choices right now are these two tiles. Now it has to maintain track, so if it upgraded here, it could place this city here, which would allow it to deliver here, and then if they wanted to, they could come out of this city and come down towards Ohio, or they could continue on in this direction, or they could come up here and meet up with the green company. Or they could place this tile and say, hey, I don't want green company coming over here, so I'm going to place the tile this way to block out green for a while, and then I can still have a track go down this way towards Ohio, and I have the option of going this way towards the east, and I have an option of building south, still running south down into these territories over here. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to place that tile there. Place that tile there to help them and not help green. So they have done their tile placement. They could place a station here. They're not going to place a station. They're not worried about being tokened out by anybody because no one can get there right now. Running trains. So we're in the green phase. So $50 plus 10. And they have, let's see, black has a 3 train. They do have a 3 train. So they can go 1, 2, 3. So 50 plus 10 plus 30 is $60, $90. So their run is $90. So they could keep $90 in their company, or they could pay it out. They will pay it out at $9 a share. So that means they're going to go up on the stock market track. And then they have 6 shares. So 9 times 6 is 54. Nobody else has any shares in that company. So they're going to get $54 of revenue. All right, so they got their money. So the last thing is to buy trains. They have a 3 train and a 2 train. There is 1 3 train left that they can consider buying if they want, or they could hold out for a 4 train. Right now they have this for their 3. If they put a token here, which, let's see, tokening is before a train run. Yes, place a station marker. Okay, I was looking at that because that's one thing to consider. Because they might want to put a token here so that they could use their 3 train to run from here to here, and then lay a piece of track here and use their 2 train to run from here to here. And then it looks like so that would be 1 build, so that's next operating round. And then the round after that, with 2 builds, they could get down here if they wanted to, which would be a 2 train run. Or if they buy a 4 train, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know what? They're going to pass on buying that 3 train. And so that's the end of their turn. All right, so now we are at the red player's turn. They have a 3 train and 2 trains at this point. They have already sold their private into their company, so that's not an option anymore. So the first thing that they do is lay or upgrade track. So blue already upgraded this. They could upgrade this to a higher city, but that would still just be the operation of their 3 train. And they want to get their 2 train running from here to here. So they are going to lay this tile. That's going to cost them $40. I forgot to take it out during the other time when I did this. I went back and corrected that though. So they're going to lay that tile there. That's going to cost them $40. Now they only have $220 in their treasure. Well, they have this also. So they have $235 in their company treasury. So they don't have a whole lot of money. So they have to pay $40. So let me do that real quick. All right, so that's going to give them $60 back in their treasury. They have done this. So they laid their track. They paid for the operation cost. Place a station marker. They could place a station marker here in green. And they say, hey, you know what? I don't see any reason why I should at this point. Maybe they're not thinking ahead too much. And it's actually something they really might want to consider depending what their goals are and all. But you'll see why in a moment. Run train. So they have a 3 train that'll run from here to here. So 20, 30 plus 40. So 40, 50, 60, 70. And then they have a 2 train that'll run here, which is 20, and 30. So 70 plus 30 is $100. Now notice I counted this city twice because one train left this station and went on this side of the track, and then another train left this station and went on this side of the track. So this tile was counted twice, once for this calculation and once for this calculation. So that's something else to consider also, right? If he puts a token here, right, which it wouldn't be that one, it'd be that one. If he puts a token here and then he runs his trains out of here and then out of here to some other direction, you're going to count the $40 token twice rather than the $20 token. And so that actually might be worthwhile. The red company, however, only has one other token. So if they do that, they're not going to be able to token anywhere else, which could cause them to get blocked out of things. But I'm not going to do it just because I want to do something else to show you. So they ran for $100. They have 20, 30, 40, they have 60% of their company, and the black player has one share. So $10 a share, so 10 times 6, the red player is going to get $60, and the black player is going to get $10. All right, so we paid dividends. That means we're going to go up on the stock track. So I'm just going to put it where it should go, which is underneath. So their stock value went up to 85. And then lastly is the buy trains option. They already have a 3 train and 2 twos. They're not even using one of the trains they have yet, so they're going to pass on buying that train, and that will conclude the red player's turn. So now we come to the green player, the final person in this operating round. They could sell these into their company, and I did look this up. I had a question about it earlier. So like I said, it shows it produces no revenue, but I mean, he could sell this to his company and pull $200 out of his company if he wanted to have capital here to do something like start another company if he wanted to. And maybe he'll consider that on the next round. We'll take a look. But anyway, he's not going to sell this. So as usual, first up is lay or upgrade track. So green is over here. They could upgrade this track. They could upgrade this track. They could upgrade this track. They could lay track going in this direction. Now remember, oh, you know what? Actually, the green train, they are going to buy this into their company because that's going to allow them to build here and get that special bonus action. So they're going to sell this into the company, and they have only $360 in their company, and a 4 train cost $300. So they want to make sure they keep $300 in their treasury. So even though they could sell this to themselves, give themselves $100 of personal cash, they're gonna buy it for all 60. Or are they going to buy it for less than that? The cheapest that they could go is $25. So, you know what I'm going to do? I just want to show you something, or show you something that I could do. So I'm actually going to pay out $100 for this. I'm going to pull $100 out of the treasury and just put it into the player's personal cash, and leave this 60 in there. So now that this is in the company, they have a bonus special build action. So they get the regular upgrade build plus a bonus. So the way that's going to work is they're going to upgrade this tile. And they are going to upgrade it like, they don't have any reason to go over here. So they're going to use this tile to upgrade that there. Okay, and then they're going to use their special build action, which allows them to put these 2 types of tiles into this spot. So what they're going to do is they're going to lay this for free and lay this for free. All right, so they got to upgrade and do that. Okay, I had to look something up real quick. Sometimes when you use a company's special ability, it closes out of the game. But this one, looks like in the rules for this game, every private company is just in existence until phase 5. But something that I think I did wrong in an earlier video is as I was checking that rule is that it says private companies can only be bought in during phase 3 or 4 of the game. So that would be when the 3 and 4 trains are available. And I can't remember if I had a company buy in before that happened. So that's just something to be aware of. Anyway, so I bought this in, so I was able to do that build. So that is now part of that company. So it bought a private company, it laid track, it can place a station marker. So green actually can build into here, and green has four station markers. So it has station markers to spare, and it could stop red from taking this space from green. And so green is going to do that, and it costs green $40 out of its train treasury to do that. So let me remove the $40. And so it placed that there, so now red cannot go through here to get over there, at least in that direction. Placed it, so now it can run trains, and so now green can run trains out of here and out of here. Green has a 3 train and 2 trains. So green can run out of here, 1, 2, could use that train for that route. It could use 1, 2, 3 for this one, right? And then it's 2 train over here for this. So green runs for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180. Wow. Okay. 180. That's $18 a share. All right, that's almost double any other company so far. So $18 a share. So that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shares. Does anyone else have this company? They do not, but I can guarantee you some people might start buying it now. So 18 times 6 is $108. So green can keep this in its treasury. I was showing you green only has $220 remaining in its train treasury. Because remember, I sold that thing. And remember, a 4 train costs $300. So if it kept it in its treasury, it would get back up to that $300 amount, which would allow it to, buy a 4 train. Sorry, I was thinking about something else I was going to do. I was wondering, making sure I did this correctly. So the run, wait, hold on. Okay, since the run was 480, it could actually take $180, not 108, but $180 and put that in its company treasury. But if it pays out, then the player will get $108 because it has 6 shares. So either 180 goes into the company or 108 goes to the player. And I just wanted to make sure I said that correctly. And he's going to give this to himself. Because what I'm going to have him do is try and start another company. So he did that. So he ran the trains, he paid, so he's going to go up here. So stock value went from $70 to $75. He could buy a train. He is not going to do that. That, therefore, concludes the first operating round, and now we go into operating round number 2. So now that we are in operating round number 2, this company is going to get $15 of revenue. This company is going to get $10 of revenue. The player is going to get no revenue. This company is going to get $10 of revenue. This player is going to get $5 of revenue. And then this player is going to be first to act because they have the highest value in the stock market. All right, the blue players first. Any time during their turn, they can consider selling this to their company. First thing to do is to lay or upgrade track. Now, as far as laying or upgrading track, I was saying earlier, I don't know why it would go over here when it might want to go over here, but here's the thing. They have a 3 train and a 2 train. If they chose to upgrade track, they could upgrade this one and that's it. And that would go from $30 to $40, making their run worth $80 instead of $70. But what they could do actually is lay this track and use their 3 train to run this, which would actually make their run go to $100. And now if eventually later on they weren't interested in going down here because they wanted to go over there, in this game there happens to be a tile that does this split where instead of going down here they can choose to go over there. So they could upgrade this tile to this and actually get more money on the run. And that's something they could have considered last time too, but again they were afraid the other player might choose a tile here that they weren't happy with. So they're going to do that. They're going to lay that tile. They are then going to run their trains. So 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's a 3-train run, and they do have a 3-train. So let's say $100 there. So it's going to pay out $10 a share. That company is sold out. So everybody who owns it is going to get $10 for every share that they have, unless the company wanted to keep $100 in its bank, which it does not want to do. So run train, so then it's going to pay out, which means it's going to go up from $110 of value to $125 of value per stock share. And then it has the option to buy a train. It could buy this 3-train if it wants to. It doesn't want to. That is the end of the blue player's turn. So now that the blue player has completed its turn, it does have the option, because at any time you want, you can sell your private. So now we're going to be going into a stock round. He's going to be going into the stock round with $168. The green company did very well, and he might want to pick up some extra spending money, because he could pick up and pull $40 out of his company and put that into his personal cash or personal pile or whatever to buy trains. He's got $100, $200, and $290 in there. Now he's $10 shy of being able to buy a 4-train in this company right now. So if he were to sell this in here, it would, after 2 rounds of revenue, it would have enough to be able to buy a train, except the problem is he's got to pay for it, and the least amount he could pay for this is $10. So after 2 rounds, it's going to break even. But he might want to get this in there so it could start gaining some revenue, because if that 4-train situation arises, he's going to want to make sure he has enough money in here. So while he could pull 40 out of here for giving himself more money for spending, he needs to keep money in here so that he could buy a 4-train, because once somebody buys it, he's going to go down a train. So he can pay himself half of this, which is only $10, which is what he's going to do. He's going to pay himself $10 for that, so that this starts generating money here, so that hopefully he can get this $280 up to $300 before it's too late, so that he could buy a 4-train. All right, so it's the black player's turn. They don't have any privates to sell, so their first thing they can do is lay or upgrade a track. They want to lay that piece of track there so they can come into Ohio. Next, they could place a station marker. They're going to do that. That's going to cost them $40. So 2040 gets removed. All right, then they run their trains. So now they have a 2 and a 3 train over in their company. All right, these are the 2 trains they have. So from here to here, it's 1, 2, 3. That's going to run that route. And then from here to here, that is a 2 train. So this tile is going to get counted twice. So we're at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Then for this way, 100, 110, 120, 120 plus 60 is 180. This company is going to run for $18 a share. The company or the person can now choose to put $180 into their company treasury. All right, they could add $180 to this, or they could pay out $18 a share. For each person who owns shares, they're going to pay out that money. Since they're paying out, they're going to go up stock value, so it goes from $85 to $95 in value. They have an option now to buy this last 3 train. They're not going to do that. Their turn is over. All right, it is now the red company's turn. It does not have a private to sell, so the first thing it's going to do is lay or upgrade track. And now the red company. The red company is in quite a bind, it looks like. Red company, gosh, okay. This tile can't be upgraded, and this tile can't be upgraded. This one can. All right, but it's got 2 choices. These 2 tiles here. But the thing is, it can't build over here because this private is owned by the black company player, and the black company player sold it into their company, meaning it's not available for the red person to buy. So if the red player were to upgrade this tile to make it where like the route allows you to go in this direction, at this point is absolutely pointless because it cannot build over there because they don't own the private that allows that to be built. And that's going to be restricted until the 5 trains are purchased, which could be quite a while. So it could upgrade this for the money value. And I mean, I guess if it wanted to, it could leave itself with its option to eventually get out of here. And then what it could do, I guess, is on another turn upgrade this tile with something else like this maybe to get out of here, and maybe try and swoop into DC. But that's not a very, I mean, it can happen, but it's going to be involved. Or it has a connection to here. I mean, it could upgrade this tile to something. And I mean, it owns the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, so it could, if it wanted to, lay a tile that allowed it to go up there, or maybe it would lay this tile or something so that it could, I don't know, run from here and do some kind of little loop here and then maybe come across down here, but this is blocked off for a while. I mean, if it wants to get down to this area, I mean, that's mountains it's got to go through. It's not looking really good. I mean, already the red company just looks like, if it does not look very good for the red company. It is really kind of stuck in here because of this is just being blocked off. And you can't come up here. You can't go in here and then in this direction. Not that it matters because it's not built, but you can't like go in and back out. You have to come from this full direction. So man, I think what I might actually just have happen, I don't know if this is the right move, but it's so blocked in over here, and all these turns it has to spend to upgrade and lay and up and hope for the, I mean, if this upgrade, if the person laid this like this, then it's even more complicated to build into there. It can't go that way. It could go that way, but red is not liking their choices. So it's going to actually upgrade this tile here. That's going to be what they, sorry, it's going to upgrade that tile there. That's what they're going to do. They can place a token if they want that. And this is the other thing. They only have one other station marker. So, I mean, I don't think they're a threat of being blocked out, so they'll probably hold off on placing a station marker. Of course, the thing is, if they do that, they only can run one train out of here and out of here. If they do lay this station marker, they can at least run, so they have a 3 and a 2 train. So the 3 train could go, well, the 3 train go 1, 1, 2, 3. So the 2 train would just go 1, 2. So it can't even get over there at this point. It would need to buy more trains. So maybe it's not even worth it to upgrade that spot. I mean, the only reason you would do it is, I mean, I guess if you did that, and you tokened it, then you could run your 3 train here, your 2 train here, and then with his other 2 train, he can run it in between these spots there. So he could also just token that. He's going to have to buy another train to deal with all this mess. Oh, wow. This is not pretty. Shoot. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I mean, I'm not going to play this whole game anyway, so I'll just do this. I'll do that. So that's the upgrade. That's going to cost him $40 out of his company treasury to place that station marker there. So he's going to run trains. So his 3 train will go from here to here. So that's 20, 30, 70. And now this is a reason maybe why to upgrade this one instead, because then he's going to run a 2 train from here to here. And and that would allow him to use this spot twice, which would get him an extra $20 in revenue, more than this would. Maybe he'll do that. Maybe that revenue is better because he can upgrade this on another turn. I think he'll do that for the revenue increase. He still will token here just to get the train run out of it. He'll set that there. So instead of go 30, 40, 80, and then 30 and 40 is 120. And then he'll run his 2 train here for another 50. So that's what, 170? So 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 170. All right, so that's a good run. I mean, that's a good amount of money. But he's getting boxed in a very unfavorable way. So he can either pay out that money or keep it. He's going to pay it out because he might need to really start looking into getting another company running to help this one out, or consider dumping it. But other people might be seeing the problem and not want to be invested in it. So he's going to pay out $17 a share. So that means, since he's paying out, he will go up on the stock market, and then he has the option to buy this train for 180, which he does not even have enough money to do. He can't even buy this 3 train for 180, and once this is going to go away at the end of the round, which means the next train is going to be 300, and if he can't buy, he won't be able to buy that. That's going to rust his 2, so it's just going to leave him with a single 3 train, and then he's going to have to withhold to build up. It is not looking good, people. But that is his turn. So what was that, $17 a share? All right, I need to pay that out. All right, it is now the green player's turn. Final action of the operation rounds. He still does have this private company that he could sell to himself if he wanted to. Hopefully I'll remember to take a look at that at the end. Actually, I'll set that right over here as a reminder to myself to do that. So what we're going to do first is lay our upgrade track. So green is over here. This has been upgraded. This has been upgraded. Can't be upgraded. Can't be upgraded. That's been upgraded. It is connected to this, so it could upgrade that. It cannot build over here because it can't build past this spot because he can't reach past it. So he will just go ahead and upgrade this spot. But now he gets to build or choose which tile goes there. And that might not be good for the red person. So he could choose this one, which allows going down here, there, and this way, though I don't think he really cares about that at this point. Or he could do this, which still allows to go down there, allows to go there, but it doesn't allow to go down here. And green doesn't really have a connection to Washington yet, though he could upgrade this. He can't build here, so he might not really care about that. And even if this got built by the person who owns it, I mean, he could run to it. If that was on there, he could run to it. But he could also lay this in such a way as to not help the red player. He could say, I don't really care about that, and this is going to stop the red player, which would hurt the red player, which would be something you'd want to do if you want to win the game. And lay the track like that instead, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to be an a-hole and do that. So because red upgraded that and didn't do that, he might be paying even more and suffering for it. So he laid and upgraded his track so he can place a station marker if he wants to. He has no interest in doing that at this point. So now he runs trains. So again, he has a 3 train and 2 trains. So this is his most valuable spot. So he wants to run a 3 out of from here. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 for that one. And then he wants to run a 2 train this way. So he counts this twice. So then that's 40, 70. So 80 plus 70 is 150. And then he has another 2 train, which he can run between these 2 spots for $60 more. And that is a $210 run. He can pay that out, or he can put it into his company and fall back on the stock round there. So let's see, he has 6 shares, so 21 times 6, that'd be $126. All right, let me check something out. Okay, here's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to decide whether to pay that out or not. So $126 is what he would get. He has $305 here. So combining those totals is $431. $420 is the minimum you need to start a second company, which is what he wants to do. But that would, for $420, he could only start a company at $70. And with now the 4 trains going to be the cheapest train to buy, he probably wants to start a company at $95 a share, which would put $950 into his company, which means he needs $570 to get that company up and running. So why was I doing that? Because he has this private company that he could sell to his public company to pull out some more money, to give him even more money to be able to start a high value company, and that's what he's going to do. So he has that. So he's going to get, what was that? It's $21 a share. So 21 times 6, that's going to be $126 that he gets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 400 and 20, 31. He has $431. Let's see, what does he need? To start a company at $95 a share, he needs to sell this to this company for at least $139 to do that. So he will sell it to there for $140. I guess we'll do $140 since he needs $139. So let's see, 20, 40, 60, 81, so 140, which leaves $90 in this company. And I'm going to just take this out just in case I did my math wrong. So he's going to leave $80 in the company. So let's see, he did pay out. So he did pay out. So he's going to go up on the stock market. He could buy a train. He is not going to buy a train. That is the last operating. We're going to export. We are going to export this 3 train out of the game, which makes the 4 trains available to purchase. And then we go into the stock round.